Okay, today we're going to talk about the dative case as it's used with indirect objects, dative verbs, and dative prepositions. Before we get into the dative case, it's probably best if we do a little bit of a review of the other cases. The nominative case is used with a subject or predicate nominatives, such as Der Mann ist jung, the man is young. Der Mann is the subject of that sentence. Jung is an adjective describing the man. Der Mann ist mein Vater, the man is my father. In this case, both the man and the father are in the nominative case because mein Vater is a predicate nominative. Der Mann hat den Ball, the man has the ball. In this sentence, der Mann is the subject and den Ball is the accusative direct object. The ball is what the man has. Der Mann wirft den Ball. In this sentence, der Mann is again the subject and den Ball is the direct object. It's what's being thrown in this sentence. The accusative case is used with direct objects and objects of accusative prepositions. Der Mann hat den Ball. As the example I gave before, the man is the subject, den Ball is the direct object. It's what's being had. Er kauft es für ihn. In this sentence, we have two accusatives, es being the accusative pronoun, it, and the prepositional phrase für ihn, for him. Für is an accusative preposition. That's why für ihn is accusative. Die Frau schlägt die Wand. The woman hits the wall. Die Frau is the subject, and the thing that she is hitting is die Wand, the wall, which makes it the direct object. The dative case is used with indirect objects, object of dative verbs, and objects of dative prepositions. We're going to start with the indirect objects. Before you can use the indirect objects in the dative case, you have to first understand what is an indirect object. The indirect object is to whom or for whom something is done. In other words, it's the receiver of the direct object. Abstractly thinking about grammar topics is probably not going to do us any good, so let's try out some examples. Jim gives his girlfriend a flower. Jim is the subject of this sentence. The direct object is what he is giving, in this case, a flower. The to whom he is giving the flower is his girlfriend, which makes his girlfriend the indirect object. Lance throws his friend the ball. Lance is the subject, the thing being thrown is the ball, and that makes that the direct object in the accusative case, and his friend is the indirect object, also known as the dative case. Tanya sends her grandmother a card. Tanya is the subject, the card is what's being sent as the accusative direct object, and her grandmother is the dative case, which would be the indirect object. In German, the words for the change depending on the case. So, let's review them. The masculine, feminine, neuter, and plural for the nominative case would be der, die, das, die. In the accusative case, in the direct object case that is, they change over to den, die, das, die. In the dative case, they all become dem, der, dem, den. I say den plus in because the dative plural will take an in at the end of the noun as well. The words for a, or ein-words, follow a similar pattern. In the nominative case, the ein-words are ein, eine, ein, and keine. Again, the plural one is keine because there isn't really a way that you can say a followed by a plural noun, so we put the k in front of it to say no. You can also use this with meine, deine, seine, and so on for the possessives, and a few other things. The accusative ein-words are einen, eine, ein, keine. The dative ein-words are einem, eine, einem, keinen. And again, the plural will take an in for the noun as well. Now that we know what the der words and ein-words look like in the dative case, let's try out some example sentences. Sie gibt der Frau eine Blume. She gives the woman a flower. All of these nouns are feminine, so it's easy to tell which one's the dative one. Sie is the nominative case pronoun for she. Der Frau is dative, which is why it's der Frau instead of die Frau. And eine Blume is the direct object. It's what's being given to the woman. Das Mädchen schenkt dem Mädchen das Pferd. The girl gives the girl a horse as a gift. Das Mädchen is the subject. Das Pferd is what's being given, and dem Mädchen is the one receiving the gift, which means that she is the indirect object. Die Schüler kaufen den Kindern die Karten. The students buy the children the cards. Die Schüler are the ones buying things. Die Karten is what's being bought, also known as the accusative, the direct object, and the receivers of the direct object are den Kindern. Notice the in at the end of Kinder because it's the dative plural. The dative case is also used with several verbs. The object of these verbs are always dative. For instance, antworten, to answer, begegnen, to meet, danken, to thank, dienen, to serve, fehlen, to be lacking or missing, and folgen, to follow. Some more dative verbs would include gefallen, which means to like or please, gehören, to belong to, glauben, to believe, helfen, to help, and passen, to fit or match. Some examples using these verbs would include ich antworte dem Mann, I answer the man. In this sentence, we don't have a direct object, we just skip over and go straight to the dative case. Dem Mann, wir begegnen der Frau, we are meeting the woman. Wir is the subject, and the object of the dative verb is der Frau. Der Junge dankt dem Lehrer. The boy thanks the teacher. It's dem Lehrer instead of den Lehrer because danken is the dative verb, so the object of the dative verb takes the dative case. Der Kellner dient den Kunden. The waiter serves the customers. Notice it's den Kunden for the dative plural. Dienen is a dative verb, which means the object has to be dative. Die Antwort fehlt dem Jungen. This one has kind of a strange translation. Die Antwort is actually the subject of this sentence, so it literally says the answer is missing the boy, but really the boy is forgetting the answer, or he he is lacking the answer. Dem Hund folgt das Mädchen. In this sentence, the dog is the thing being followed, and therefore is going to take the dative case because folgen is a dative verb. Some more examples. Das Hemd gefällt dem Mädchen. The shirt is pleasing to the girl. In English, we would say the girl likes the shirt, but in the German version, using gefallen, we have to say the shirt is pleasing to the girl. It takes the dative case because gefallen is dative. Diese Schuhe gehören den Männern. These shoes belong to the men. It's den Männern because it's the dative plural. Ich glaube der Lehrerin nicht. I believe the teacher not, or I don't believe the teacher. In this sentence, die Lehrerin changes to der Lehrerin because glauben is dative, so the object must be dative. Der Arme hilft dem Reichen. The poor one helps the rich one. Die Socken passen den Kindern. The socks fit the children. Passen uses the dative case, so den Kindern has to be dative. There are also some dative prepositions. The main 8 are aus, out of or from, außer, besides or except, bei, which means with, near or at, mit, which means with, nach, which means after, seit, which is since, von, from or of, and zu, to or at. There's also gegenüber, which means across from, but that one's a little bit more complicated to use, so we'll skip that one for today. In order to remember these, I usually just go down the list over and over and over again, but that's kind of boring. You can say aus, außer, bei, mit, nach, seit, von, zu, or you can say aus, außer, bei, mit, nach, seit, von, zu, or you can say German is fun, dative is to, aus, außer, bei, mit, nach, seit, von, zu. Here are some example sentences using the dative prepositions. Ich komme aus den USA. I come from the USA. The USA is actually an abbreviation for the United States of America, which means that it's plural because of states, which is why it takes den for den USA. Außer einer Schwester habe ich auch einen Bruder. Besides a sister, I also have a brother. Ich wohne bei der Schule. I live near the school. Wohnt mit seinen Eltern. He lives with his parents. Wir schlafen nach dem Film. We are sleeping after the film. Some more examples. Seit einem Jahr kann ich lesen. This means that I have gained the ability to read about a year ago. Von dem Mann bekomme ich ein Geschenk. From the man I receive a gift. Ich fahre zu der Schule. I drive to the school. Now let's try some review. You just fill in the blanks with the der words that are appropriate for each case and gender. Blank Junge fährt mit blank Rädern zu blank Post. This sentence should be Der Junge fährt mit den Rädern zu der Post. Der Junge is the subject of the sentence, and therefore in the nominative case, and masculine. Mit is a dative preposition, so Rädern must be in the dative case. Räder is bicycles, so the plural dative is den, and we add an in to the end of the noun, Rädern. Zu is also a dative preposition, so we use der Post instead of die Post, as it would be in the nominative case. Now try this one. Kommst du zu blank Fußballplatz? You should have written in dem. Platz is masculine, and zu is dative, so the sentence should read, Kommst du zu dem Fußballplatz? Let's try this one. Blank Kind hilft blank Mutter mit blank Arbeit. This sentence should read, Das Kind hilft der Mutter mit der Arbeit. Das Kind is the subject of this sentence. Helfen is the dative verb, which means the object of this verb must be dative. Der Mutter is the dative form of die Mutter, which is feminine. Mit der Arbeit is a dative prepositional phrase. Mit is a dative preposition, so die Arbeit must change to der Arbeit. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and of course check me out on Facebook and Twitter. See you next time.